Good afternoon, Saitlanders. How are you? We trust that you're well. This light doesn't really show it, but I looked at my face just now. Maybe you're picking it up, I don't know. And it looked very red. And it's because I've been in the sun a little bit today. Not all that much, but I've got this Irish complexion, you know. And it's really hopeless in the sun. Yeah. We've been talking about CBDCs, and I mentioned to you in the first video that about 9 months ago, Mr. Miller said to me that I should do a series on them. And I've no doubt that I know 100 times more than most people, not more than most Saitlanders leaders, make no mistake. So I'm kind of half qualified to do this series, but at that time, I was apprehensive because I felt as if there were a couple of things that I wasn't really getting. And one of them has only dawned on me. You know when you don't know what you don't know, but you know that you don't know something that you don't know. It's there somewhere. You've no idea at all, but excuse me. In the past few days, I've thought of something that I've not seen anybody else on the internet cover. I'm sure there must be someone somewhere, but in all the vast amount of research that I do from 2, 3, 4 in the morning every day, except Saturdays, I haven't seen this. And that is, it's a rudimentary thing, you know, perhaps embarrassing to admit it, because it's really rudimentary. If you can hear a noise in the background, it's that Malinois of mine. Chewing a bone. They say that Malinois, as much as they're supposed to be, either the most intelligent or the second most intelligent dog breed, that they struggle to learn some things. And what I've found is that if I'm stern with her, and you're not supposed to be stern with them, you're supposed to just pander them, you know, until they come right. But sometimes it gets too much. If I'm stern with her, she learns like that. But if you're 90%, if you give them that much, then there's certain things that they refuse to learn. And they warn on the internet that one of them is house training. And they say, look, don't beat the dog, don't shout, don't perform whatever, because you'll do more harm than good, which is understandable. But know this, they're not going to learn until they're good and ready. And she has just about learned to be house trained. And it's the same with the bones. I'm trying not to get annoyed, but as many as I throw out, she brings in. So she's chewing a bone. One of the things, this thing that suddenly dawned on me, and it's embarrassing because it's really obvious. And you think to yourself, geez, if I've given it this much thought, a year and a half thought, how did I not think of that thing? I mean, I get paid a salary. You don't. I get paid to research. You know what that thing is? Where do the banks fit into this? This is an introductory series. So let me be absolutely clear. Central bank digital currencies are intended to replace currency as you know it. And to be a form of currency that is completely digital, completely cashless, and completely controlled by the government. But, and this is the key thing, they're not. They're controlled by the central bank. And the majority of central banks in the world are not owned by the state or not owned by the country, the people. They're not national entities. They're independent. They're private. They're owned by, and we'll speak about this in due course, a bank called Israel Moses Seif and some others. That's just kind of an epitome example, which is a European bank. It's one of the 8 owners of the 12 banks that are in the Federal Reserve banking system, what's known as the Fed. The Fed is 12 banks that compose a system that is owned by Israel Moses Seif and 7 others. 4 of which are not American at all, and never have been, and there's no sign that they ever will be. They are European banks or European banking families. So, if it's Kamstag, supposedly, purportedly, putatively, ostensibly, the government, but actually it's these, it's the central bank itself, South African Reserve Bank, Federal Reserve of the USA, Bank of England in Great Britain. But actually, those are owned by these private entities. Where does that leave Capitec, Standard, ABSA, and the others? And the short answer is, I don't know. But as dumb as I am, it took me almost 2 years to even, for the thought to occur. And so you might think, well, this video is a little bit pointless. We've learned that we don't know. Yeah, but we've also learned that we don't know. And previously, we didn't know that we didn't know. In the next few days and weeks, we'll discuss this more and more, and we'll continue to discuss it colloquially. That is to say, in this informal manner, as laymen. I, as a layman, who did economics for 1 or 2 years, I don't even remember, 1 or 2 years at university, and I passed, but then dropped out of university. And how I passed economics, really, I shouldn't have. Looking back now, it's wrong. Just wrong. But as somebody who's done this research, I say, I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. I can only hold a colloquial conversation with you. One that has to be held. Because what is this all about? It's about the fact that we will no longer control our currency. It won't be a relationship between me and Standard Bank. It'll be a relationship between some dude in Switzerland who's watching every last cent that I spend. And if you're not a Suidlander and you're watching this now, you might say, bah. That's like saying that COVID came from a laboratory and that it didn't come from the fish market. Yeah, yes, but the evidence, the direct quotations, the words of the head of the Bank of International Settlements, the words of the members of the Fed about control, about monitoring, about who's in charge. Leave us irrefutably. Leave us with the irrefutable, incontestable, indisputable understanding. I mean, the evidence is preponderant that this thing is going to come into our lives like COVID, come into our lives like the injections, and change them forever. That's why we must have these conversations, even if you and I are not qualified to hold them. So let's hold colloquial conversations. Let's hold dialectical conversations in which we endeavor through, as the Nigerians call it, actually I hate this expression, but it's the first one that comes to mind, rubbing of minds. Let's rub minds, Simon. We can get some kind of grasp of what's cooking here. Because one thing's for sure, this is as sinister as anything that any of us have ever contemplated in our lives. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you appreciate it, and I really look forward to the next chat. Cheerio.